I've had an interesting week this week, looking and just penetrating a little bit deeper my judgments and what function my judgmentality, I'll call it that, my judgmentality serves for me. So I thought we'd explore this a little bit together. And what I began to notice and what this requires, if you want to go on this journey with me around exploring for yourself, don't take for, what's true for me, it's true for you. But if you want to just explore, slow everything down. And this is a little tricky in and of itself, is to slow everything down, because I find that judgment, boom, it just happens in the snap of a moment. So what I decided to do was walk around, or you can look at Facebook. That's a great one. If you just look at people's Facebook feeds, most likely you're going to recognize a lot of judgment comes up. Right? So I would read something and then I would feel this commentary inside my mind, or this judgment, whether I thought it was good or bad, or whether I thought it was right or wrong. And so I got so curious, because I was reading about some things where I really didn't have an opinion about it, but I still noticed this right or wrong, good or bad, right? Black or white. And as I did that, I started saying, well, I wonder what this functionality is, this judgmentality is. And so I stepped even a little bit deeper into it around my daughter, because in parenting, I noticed that I have the same thing. So I decided to look at some parenting, feeds, right? And sure enough, there it was. And I really... Personally, I don't have a lot of judgment around how other people parent, because I recognize that we each have to find our own path, our own way. But I have a personal judgment I noticed on myself. And that's what began to get curious, because here I was, I would read something that I don't have a lot of opinion about or preference about or whatever, but this judgment would come that would try to tell me whether it was right or wrong, or whether it was good or bad outside, but it was really about inside. So I noticed my judgmentality was like a questioner. It was like throwing me back to myself. So when I could see it this way, I could get curious about it. But when I saw it as negative, which I often have in my life, who wants to be a judgmental person, right? But I have these judgments. So when I wanted to get rid of it, that wasn't really supportive, especially in my parenting. It wasn't helping me or supporting me in inquiry, which is what I love to do, and to really find out. So as I began to recognize my judgmentality, it was trying to choose one side or the other. It was like, especially the right and wrong, it was like so in my mind. If I knew I was right, I would be okay. If I thought I was wrong, I could change myself. And I started noticing that, this judgmentality began to cover over a deeper wisdom that I carry inside, especially around my parenting. And my judgments were outside. They were trying to do it right. And I imagine many of you have this. I know we all do in parenting, because of course that's the job I want to do the best at, right? I want to do the right thing by my daughter. I don't want to do the wrong thing. But when I got into that modality, it was so interesting of how I was deciding what was right or wrong. It was like I was going more with the consensus of whatever group I was in. I could see, yeah, that's right. And then I could read the other side and I go, no, that's right. Or maybe this is wrong. It really started, it was very interesting. I'll just say that. It was very interesting. So when I began to watch them, and you may want to do this with me, we may want to explore, which is what I love to do in here, and find out for yourself, when you have a judgment, instead of creating a whole big giant story around it, which which will crystallize it. If you can make an argument for that right, it's going to be much better. Or make an argument for that wrong. It's going to be much better, to be able to live how you think you're supposed to from the outside. But the next time you have a judgment, especially about your child's behavior, I'm going to suggest that you not create a story. You just take that judgment inside and you be with it. You offer it kindness. You ask it a question. You're like, oh, well, my question is always, why do you need to feel right in this moment? Why aren't you able to be curious? Like, what would happen if you opened up to curiosity about why she just acted that way, instead of going to your judgment of she's right or wrong? So I recognize my judgmentality is creating separation, and it's separation from the intimacy and the curiosity of my beautiful heart. And it may be for you too. I mean, just check it out. Like I want to, I strive to be in my heart and to question anything that creates that barrier between my heart and my child. So I get to. And my judgment supports me in doing that. As long as I don't believe it's true, that it's right or it's wrong or it's good or it's bad, it's just like a little flag, like just a little messenger that's reminding me to turn back in and open my curiosity to what's actually happening in this moment. Thank you for listening to this episode of Parenting Paused. If you enjoyed the episode, do me a favor and share it with your mama friends. You can also leave a review wherever you listen, which will support getting the Pure Joy message out. Come on over to the Pure Joy Parenting Practice Facebook page or join me on Instagram to hear more. And don't forget to download your free copy of the Safe Seat course on the Pure Joy website. And while there, check out the offerings page to go deeper in the Pure Joy work.